Good evening and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio. Anime-Zing Radio is brought to you tonight by Home Circle Media for the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed anime gear. Be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you tonight by Casey Fox for all of your artwork, cosplay, and photography needs. Be sure to check out Casey Fox, that's KAYCIFOXX, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Again, welcome to Anime-Zing Radio. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is our good friend Angela Rose.
Hello.
Our other host, Darren Starling, will be joining us once he's available to. When I messaged him a little earlier, he was with a customer, so he's still busy at work. So he will be joining us in a little bit. Tonight we have a lot of fun planned. We're going to be previewing the spring 2023 anime season, and also Angela had a busy weekend as an enforcer at PAX East, showing off the awesome badge from there. And so we're going to let Angela start off here in a second. After we remind everybody, if you enjoy the show tonight, you like what you hear, you want to support us, hit that like button down below if you're on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Also, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/animazingradio. All proceeds that come from that help us to get better equipment, help us to be able to afford traveling to conventions and get better coverage from these events as well. So we really appreciate everybody who has supported us through the years and really look forward to many more years of providing quality entertainment, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. And Darren is going to try again, it looks like, to join us, but StreamYard does not like his phone.
StreamYard doesn't always like mobile devices, period.
Yeah.
I don't like mine either.
So let's try it again. It's looking like he's somewhat connected. Hello, Darren. So while he is figuring that out, Angela, you were at PAX East this weekend. How crazy of a weekend was it?
It was a bit crazy. It was great. I loved it. Enforcing it's a lot of I personally think it's a lot of fun. It's work. But it's an amazing experience. PAX East, if you like games of any kind, if you like I highly recommend you check it out at least for a day. There's all sorts of things to do and see. Among the interactive things that anybody could do, no experience required. There was one area set up where Jackbox, the company, was there, and they had a TV, and like every hour or so they would swap the game, and you could just sit on the floor and play Jackbox with hundreds of people. And
That's cool.
And that area was constantly busy, pretty much starting around lunchtime. On another area down the hall, past the food court, there was an actual honest to God dance floor set up and a TV with Just Dance. And you could get in line and dance. Lots of little kids like to do that. And then there was also a spot for people to sit and watch and just kind of enjoy the music and chill out there. Where's the other one? And then there was also an area set up, a speedrun area where people were doing speedruns of stupidly popular games, and we had like a whole section of floor. We had a section of chairs, and then some of the games are so popular we had to section off a chunk of the floor for people to sit and make a walkway because people were blocking the escalator.
Wow.
Watching speedruns is I don't know if it's becoming or has been for a while popular thing. It's becoming more mainstream. It's not really my thing, although my department for enforcing was included keeping an eye on the speedrun stage. Hi, Ross.
Hello to Ross. Thank you for tuning in.
Um, but yeah, there was a lot to do. The expo show floor had a lot. Nintendo had a huge presence. Lots of games, lots of demos, lots of giveaways. There was a Splatoon giveaway that apparently the free bag that they were giving out is already on eBay.
Of course, that it doesn't
Uh,
take long.
nope, that was just rumors. There was a lot of the and a lot of the computer companies also have booths like and selling like selling like gaming gaming accessories like special keyboards, special controllers, mouse, headsets, peripheries, all that fun stuff. HH, that is 100% fair.
I've never actually sat down and watched somebody speedrun anything. I know that it's a fast growing
It's a thing people
thing.
enjoy. It's a thing. I was surprised by how many people wanted to watch a speed run of Portal. Like when I say we were blocking the escalator, like coming close to violating, like not quite coming close to violating fire codes, but we had to like deal with it right then and there. It was a
Before it started.
it was a big freaking deal. Um, panel one the two of the largest panels. One was for Final Fantasy 14. MMOs again, not really my thing, but oh my god, the audience for that and some of the cosplays for people wanting to show off their characters, it was impressive. I wish I'd taken more pictures. I didn't. Um, and then yesterday was a Final Fantasy 16 panel where they previewed some gameplay. I think I didn't actually get to see the panel, but again, Final Fantasy cosplayers from all the games running around. Um,
That was technically my first cosplay. It was actually from Final Fantasy IX. To me, it was a Halloween costume because I didn't know what cosplay was at the time. But it was the main character Zidane Tribal from Final Fantasy IX was my first cosplay that I created myself. I had to sew like a monkey tail, figure out how to make this, sew it to a pair of jeans and a pair of work pants, and it was definitely interesting.
yep. Shark of Final Fantasy is near and dear to my heart too. My my husband and I, our engagement photos literally are us in our Final Fantasy cosplays because that's when he proposed. He was at an anime convention. He was dressed as Auron from Final Fantasy X. I was dressed as Lightning from Final Fantasy 13. And in the middle of the photo shoot, he proposed. And so, yeah, we're those nerds. Let's see what else. PAX literally covers it all. Some of the other like I said, Nintendo was one of the big highlights of the expo hall floor. There's a lot of indie video game demos that I heard good things about. Um, what's that? And then there was there was like a large chunk of the the ground level of the expo center was also set up as a tabletop area. There was Magic the Gathering tournaments. There was board game tournaments. There was tabletop free play where you could literally just go to their game library, find people to play a game with, and just sit, play games. There was game stores and game companies doing demos of their board games. Literally a little something for everybody. There was also a what was labeled as community room where people could organize events and run them run fan events through the convention in this room, and there was a group, a Pokemon group that was running Pokemon stuff every day.
That's
So
cool.
people, so for a couple hours each day, everyone could be in that room with their switches or whatever, and play Pokemon. There was also a lot of pin trading because that's another big thing, and PAX puts out special limited edition pins for each convention. And then there's some official licensed ones that vendors can sell. And just all in all, if it's got anything to do with gaming of any kind, it's there.
And we were talking a little before going live. You were mentioning that like Genshin Impact cosplay was
Yep.
big there.
There was
Was a big Genshin influence from the game creators themselves, or
um actually not the creators, but there was a I believe there was definitely a signing from with voice actor with multiple voice actors. So people who play Genshin Impact, there was a good amount of Genshin Impact cosplay, and people were all excited about meeting the voice actors. There was even a panel regarding VTubing. There was also a cosplay panel.
that's cool.
Um,
And I see Kelly Baskin was one of the scheduled guests that was supposed to be there. We've had her on the show.
yep.
Did you have a chance to meet any of them, or
I did not. The signings were all while I was running around in other places. Um, and then there were concerts on Thursday, either Thursday, Friday, or both, with like video game music. So those are always, if nothing else, entertaining.
yeah?
There was a big Zelda display.
And Russ says he is still waiting for Genshin announcement for the Switch.
It's only a matter of time.
S-
I know
s-
absolutely nothing about it, but
Give it time because I will probably play it when it comes out on the Switch. And but yeah, it sounds like you had a lot of fun out there. And like I said, one of these years I will make a PAX.
um, if you go for the entire weekend, it's a hefty price tag, but it is, in my opinion, if you go for at least a day, it is worth it. And also, one of the things they do have for those people who they account for the overstimulation, and there is definitely a room set aside as a quiet room where they purposely keep it quiet. There's a charity group that organizes it, and basically a if you have too if you get if the noise and the lights and the way too much stuff happens, you can go there and just chill for like half an hour.
So it's a nice decompress zone,
Yep.
which is nice. That's something I think a lot of cons don't like think about when they put them on, especially small cons and up and coming conventions, because there is a lot of stuff that goes on at these events, and when people aren't used to them, especially coming out of a pandemic where people didn't go anywhere. Some still don't travel very often outside of work or so. So getting into a crowd like that, it kind of overstimulates people easily.
Yep. Um yeah, it was definitely a lot to do, a lot to take in. Um but for an event like that, they put out a lot of the schedule and a lot of what will be there out ahead of time and make it public. Subject to change because there's always last minute changes,
Of course.
but you can actually plan out ahead of time what the priorities are, like what's the big thing you want to do that if you miss you'll be upset.
Oh yeah.
Whereas I think with the smaller conventions, a lot of people tend to just not pick out, plan ahead what they want to do so much as just wander around and let things find them.
Yeah.
That's, but
And you also mentioned about VTube that there was some VTubing presence there as well.
there was a little bit of VTuber presence. There was a panel. I want to say there was a panel on VTubing. Actually, now I'm actually gonna open. Let's see if the app is still up and running.
Because VTubing has become more and more popular. We had a friend of ours on
Um,
that was a VTuber who explained a little bit of behind the scenes,
there
which was
was
a lot
a
of fun.
there was a panel on there was a panel on Friday. There was a panel on Friday titled "VTubing. I have my model. Now what?" And it was for VTubers sharing sharing what add-ons, plugins, software that they use to make the VTubing experience more interactive.
That's pretty cool. That would have been a neat thing to see because we none of us are VTubers ourselves, obviously, but I've tuned into a few different ones like We've talked about Iron Mouse, Shy Lily, Holo Live, which is going to have a big presence at Anime Boston again this year. Um,
And then Mink the Satyr is a friend of mine. She was part of that panel. Um, and there and at one of the when we were walking around, there was a poster that had a VTuber on it, and a couple of us enforcers were talking about just VTubing in general, and it's becoming a lot more like anything else. It's becoming a lot more mainstream.
and it's crazy to see how fast that VTubing has grown. Um, it's something that somebody probably started doing just for fun because they didn't want to be seen. They wanted an image put up in there. Instead, has grown into something huge, especially with like the Hololive, as we mentioned earlier. They can sing, they put on performances and stuff like that using their avatars, and a lot of
And
the people who have been announced for Anime Boston on their personal social medias have been putting out little videos, like 1 2 minute long videos talking about coming to Anime Boston. And some of them are absolutely adorable characters. I've never seen them before, but I
like,
might check out their channels.
yep, and one of the Twitch streamers my husband follows is a VTuber. Um, not and she's had an avatar for quite some time. I don't but that's just because she's closer to our age, and again doesn't want to show her face. And Ross, I will 100% agree with your statement there. Ross is saying the downside is that some VTubers are getting bullied and have to quit. Um, Getting bullied, no bueno. That should not happen. Unfortunate. That is the unfortunate side effect of being on the internet.
Yeah,
Um,
there. We're no stranger to having people come in and try to be stupid while we're on the air, try to cause problems and things like that. I've been attacked via email and stuff like that from people in the past, and
I've had
yeah,
my share of I've had my share of sexist, misogynistic comments, and I just and I know that's a lot, and it's enough to make people cry. That is not okay.
mm-hmm.
And but yeah, VTubing is becoming bigger and bigger. Um,
And out of curiosity, Sharka, what are some of the VTubers that you watch? Sharka says that they watch a lot of VTubers. So I'm curious as to who are some of the ones that you watch. See if it's anybody I've heard of, or because
Uh,
obviously it's such a big community, we don't know everybody that's involved in VTubing. We know some people locally, and then some of the bigger names, thanks to other
Thanks to YouTube
YouTubers or
channels that we watch. Um, while we
Danny
wait
O'Connor.
while we wait for that response, another thing I do want to give a shout out to is PAX has another room basically dedicated to um, the LGBTQ community called PAX Together. It is a safe space for queer and transgendered folk and games made and to showcase game designers in those spaces. And they give out a lot, some for purchase, some just free giveaways. Pride Pride merch, and they always try to promote a trans lifeline, as they call it. Technically not a national hotline, but it's basically a number a trans person can call if they feel unsafe and talk to another trans person to kind of help mitigate the situation.
That's
Uh,
cool.
kind of like a kind of like one of those hotlines for other mental health issues, but not technically not a hotline because no they're not licensed therapists of any kind. They're just people who get trained. They're people trying to help other people.
Yep,
And we've got some comments regarding VTubing. Ross Ross is talking about a VTuber called Pika May.
I think it's Pika Me, and saying she got bullied a lot growing up, tried VTubing, still got bullied while doing VTubing, and was forced to graduate. Um, and HH says that they think that HH thinks people think that they are just being funny, but at the same time, those individuals only think they are the only ones. So multiply that by 1,000. And second, they tend to think it's no big deal because it's the internet until someone gets swatted, and then it moves into unhinged, dangerous territory.
Yep. And at Anime Boston years ago now, pre-pandemic, so somebody I do know personally actually did get swatted. It was a whole big to do, and it was honestly because of something that wasn't even there, and that is not something I recommend.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes, I mean, uh, obviously, when you're putting yourself on the internet, whether it be VTubing, YouTubing, a podcast like we do, when you're getting yourself out there, you are opening yourself up to all kinds of people, whether it's good, bad, and different. People are gonna be mean, nasty. Now, some people never grow up from high school. Some of them might even still be in high school and doing the stupid little things that they think are funny, but and have no life experience as to how much that can really affect people. You never know what's going on in somebody else's life, whether
And
it's good or bad or what.
I would argue the pandemic made some of that worse because the pandemic kind of put life on hold, like any kind of social interactions on hold for at least a year and a half.
And so a lot of people,
Never didn't really learn properly to begin with, and then it got made worse by the pandemic. But
I like Ross's comment here. It says,
yeah,
I think it's just society got dumb with pride since technology got improved."
technology enabled people to be anonymous, and therefore, if they could be anonymous, they could make stupid, hurtful comments and
Feel like there's
not
going to be no repercussions.
no consequences, and that's not really true. Um,
I mean, it's sad that people feel so much safer behind the mask of the internet, where they can be obnoxious, be rude, inconsiderate, twits. And unfortunately, in today's society, the internet runs so much stuff. Social media, as we've said many times, social media is a blessing and a curse at the same time.
yep,
It's great to be able to connect with people. But at the same point in time, there are those people out there that just want to cause issues. They've got nothing better to do with their time than try to start fires, they're
yep,
unhappy for whatever reason and want to share the unhappiness, unfortunately. And as long as we are a world that is connected electronically via social media, whether it's TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, you're going to have people with bad comments. You're going to have people being rude and obnoxious.
yep.
And, you know,
And Sharka posted their list of VTubers, only one of which I'm familiar with.
I honestly don't think I know any of them.
You know one. You know the same one I do.
Iron Mouse, okay.
Yep. Um, we could go on at length about this. I'm gonna say let's focus on the positives.
And by positives, let's focus on the anime season coming up.
Um, the anime season coming up, convention season, the fact that the overall community, the overall community. I'm just gonna give a shout out. The overall community is amazing. Um, like for example, at PAX, so many things get people bring a lot of things and things get lost and things get left behind, and you would think that would be the end of it, but it's not. Everybody is so honest, and like the amount of wallets, driver's licenses, passports, COVID vaccine cards, among other things. Like we had like video game paraphernalia. People turn it into lost and found literally like right when they find it. And
That's good.
like we had, and having worked multiple events at the info booth, which one of the functions is lost and found. Um like people come back, oh my god, I noticed my wallet was missing, and 9 times out of 10 someone has already turned it in. We've also had phones end up in the lost and found because someone's phone falls out of their pocket, they don't realize it right away, somebody else finds it, brings it to the booth, and this was left in this room. And then when they realize it, they go, it they come, they get it, and everybody's happy.
And another spot that people will leave things, and you know, as a vendor, I've seen this happen multiple times. When you're sitting behind the table and you're seeing so many people walk up, it's not uncommon for somebody to be like, "Oh, is it okay if I set my phone down here while they try to get money out to pay for something?" They'll receive the item that they purchased and walk away. The phone's still sitting on the table,
Yep.
and so it's nice to see that people will take the initiative and turn those in.
Yep.
And it happens so much more than you might think.
It's huge. And that's why I want to give a shout out to the community because
I feel like, and this is just a brief observation from the few cons I've been to post COVID, but it feels like pre-COVID, we saw a lot of people start getting burned out by how many conventions there were. A lot of people attending multiple cons, and there were a lot of troublemakers that were going to these because either A, they had nothing better to do, or B, they had no reason to be deterred from going to these conventions and causing issues. Now, thanks to vaccination cards that a lot of conventions are requiring to go, some conventions still have mask mandates in place just for safety reasons. And it feels like post COVID, since conventions have come back, a vast majority, probably 95% of the people that are at the conventions now actually want to be there to enjoy it, not to cause issues. They missed seeing friends. They missed the environment. They are genuinely happier to go to these events now after a year, 2 years. In some cases, some may not even return to conventions till this year. And just missed it and genuinely want to be there. So instead of trying to ruin it for everybody else, they kind of want to just go and have fun. I don't know if you've experienced that yourself as well, Angela, going to some of the events since COVID. I know you've worked a few PAX East and PAX Unplugged.
This one really did seem like it was the closest thing to before before a lockdown. A lot more so than the other ones. Like last year was still scaled back. There was a lot more space, a lot more restrictions. I think at this point we're starting to see we're starting to see different things. But we're starting to see people actually just be, chill and enjoying being in at live events.
And it's good to see that this stuff is coming back and it's becoming a regular thing again. Um, Now we just need to teach the younger generation proper con etiquette because some of them had that 2 year break where they didn't get to figure that out. I mean, it's
Yep.
a learning curve for a lot of us, and it's like I said, I'm happy that cons are back. I probably started going to them before most people would, like when Kineticon came back in 2021. It's probably earlier than most people wanted to see an event come back, but I was just so excited to get back out there. And I'm so sad I'm going to miss this year because their guest list looks amazing again. But there is no responsible way for me to be able to go and attend that even for a day with a move going on during the week after into the weekend following.
Yep.
It would not be a responsible thing to do to just drop everything and be like, I'm going to this con because I want to.
No, and there's I mean, we've said it before, I'll say it again. There's a lot of overlap between the anime community and the video game community. I mean, I saw people walking around in street clothes, but like anime stuff. Like I saw Spy Family cosplayers. I saw people walking around in Attack on Titan hoodies. Um,
Now, there's one game slash anime I don't think we will ever see cosplay for. And I think you know which one I'm talking about.
I was that a game?
Conception started as a game.
Oh God, no.
That was originally a video game before it was turned into an anime.
God.
And I think there's two versions of that as well.
And Raw says, always remember take care of yourself first before what you interestingly love. And yep, self-care is important, responsibilities are important. But
I almost want to cosplay from that just because to see
no.
the reactions I would get.
Honestly, I bet 90% of people wouldn't get it.
Probably. But jumping ship now to the animes coming out. Crunchyroll has announced their streaming schedule for the fall season or the spring season, fall season. Yeah, I'm jumping ahead of myself.
My anime list is also up.
And so Crunchyroll has licensed the following titles for streaming in the upcoming season. Hell's Paradise at Mix Season 2 are both going to debut on April 1st. April 2nd, we'll see My Home Hero, My Clueless First Friend, The Aristocrat's Otherworldly Adventure. April 3rd, they will debut Kuma 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 Bear Punch, Season 2 of Kuma Bear. April 4th, we'll have Skip and Loafer. April 5th has a couple, Konosuba, An Explosion on This Wonderful World, and Kamikatsu, Working for a God in a Godless World. April 6th has quite a few, it looks like, including Dr. Stone, The Ancient Magus' Bride Season 2, I Got a Cheat Skill in Another World and Became Unrivaled in the Real World 2, Legendary Hero is Dead, and Yuri is My Job. April 7th has a bunch as well with Tony Kawa. I know Darren's looking forward to that one. Birdie Wing, Golf Girl Story Season 2, The Cafe Terrace and Its Goddess, Magical Destroyers, and Rakudo's Bad Girls. April 8th, we'll have A Galaxy Next Door, My One Hit Kill Sister, and Summoned to Another World for a Second Time. There you go, an isekai about an isekai. That's right up your alley, Ange.
Oh, God, I hate.
April 9th, you have Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury Season 2.
That I'm looking forward to.
April 10th, you have Dead Mount Death Play and Why Reliana Ended Up at the Duke's Mansion. X and Y Chinese Animation, April 12th. Ranking of Kings, The Treasure Chest of Courage, April 13th. Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts, April 19th. And Golden Kamuy, Season 4, sometime in the spring.
And then jumping over to my anime list, we've got a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh my God, Ross.
What?
Ross cosplayed from the second game of Conception.
Oh, God. And Sharka, this one's for you, Doug. Recently, and Darren when he rejoins us.
Recently got a figure of Nazuna from Call of the Night. I am so jealous because that series is fantastic. And if you're going to be at Anime Boston in 2 weeks, my wife has a Nazuna piece, and she also, for you Bocchi the Rock fans, has done a Bocchi piece. So she's going to have some new stuff that she's showing off. Also, if you're a fan of Animal Crossing, she's got some originals that she's been working on that are what some of the Animal Crossing characters might look like as the real animal versions of themselves. I don't know how many in total she's going to do, but I do know that she did a Raymond and she did the little, we call her Snot Nose because she's the pig that sells the turnips. I forget her name. I just call her Snot Nose because we give nicknames to some of the characters on there when we can't remember their names. But they actually look really, really good. So if you're interested, and those are one of a kind, they're not prints. They are originals. They're the smaller version. So definitely go by the Casey Fox table if you are going to Anime Boston and check out a lot of the stuff that they're going to have on display. I know she's got at least 32 different buttons because I did another group of 16 today. And hello to Julili. So happy that you have popped in to say hello. Hope things are going well for you. We are now getting ready to talk about the spring 2023 anime list. I have my anime list pulled up as well. And of course, first row has more Demon Slayer. Said
Yep.
The Swordsmith Village arc.
I'm liking Demon Slayer. I know you didn't.
I gave it 6 episodes,
That's
and I
fair.
and I couldn't get into it. I mean, there a lot of people said that it was a slow start. A lot of people said it got really good, like something like 20 episodes in when there was a huge, amazing fight scene. But if it doesn't, I'm like you in some cases, Ange, where if it doesn't pull me in early, I'm probably not going to torture myself through 20 episodes of something I think is terrible or just can't get into because there might be something good on episode 23 or
And
24.
that's exactly it. We've talked about this. Like, I tried Call of the Night. It didn't grab me.
I'm just glad you agreed with me on the fact that the art was beautiful and the music was amazing.
I but a good score and good art is not enough to keep me watching a show. For some people, art is a deal breaker. For me, it's the story. And it didn't do it for me.
And speaking of Darren, John Knight, hello, sir. And John Knight says Darren is missing. He is now here.
Yep. Sort of, kind of, maybe.
Oh, I'm here. It's just I was at a customer's and some stuff happened, and he he was told one thing but didn't believe the guy and wanted a second opinion. Yada yada yada. Long story.
Well, we're glad that you were able to join us. I hope you enjoyed listening in on the first 40 or so minutes of the show.
If you caught any of it.
I did. I caught, I'd say 80% of it.
Oh,
I
good.
joined about 8:05, 8:06, somewhere in that area. It was just a bit of a drive home.
Yeah,
Yep.
he put us on YouTube. He had messaged me about that, so he was listening in on his way home.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, Verizon has an issue with their cell towers on certain streaming platforms or something to do with their settings. And apparently, I'm not the only one. They said people with like Verizon Home, like their FiOS routers and whatnot, they had to disable this, that, or the other just to get certain streaming sites like Disney Plus or Hulu or some of them to even work. And I guess StreamYard, it fits the bill of whatever they were talking about. Because as soon as I load StreamYard, my mobile signal goes away entirely.
And you know what? My cell carrier also uses Verizon towers, so
That makes sense.
So it makes sense why mine will randomly drop while I'm driving home.
That actually does make sense. It's just kind of weird. It started happening like maybe 3, maybe 6 months ago tops. Because it used to not do that. Because I would be home from work, or I would be on my way home from work or something, and I wouldn't have a problem.
But yeah,
You'd always be able to tell I was close to my house because you'd start to lose me.
but I do remember. But I have noticed that. But yeah, love seeing this conversation we got going in the chat. And
And
to
Jalili
Lily,
says story tops all. She agrees.
yep.
You know, HH continued with sometimes slow starts are good, but it still has to grab you with something.
Speaking of slow start, did anyone ever actually watch that? I started it.
What is it?
The anime is literally called Slow Start.
No,
I've never even heard of
of
it.
this. Yes, and John noticed the blanket I have on tonight. And fun fact, John, this was actually a Christmas gift for me from Doug.
Oh wow!
I surprised her with that. Not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before.
Yep.
And oh,
Thank you, Sharka. Sharka says the blanket is beautiful.
and we just started talking. We have my anime lists 2023 spring season up, going through the shows that are coming out. We're
We
just talking about Demon
we
Slayer.
we got as far as Demon Slayer is the first one on the list. And it is in fact on on my watch list for the season. Granted, my list I think is only up to like 5 or 6.
I haven't actually started writing a list. I probably should when we go through this. So I'm gonna turn my trusty notebook to a new page and write down Doctor Stone. Another season is coming out of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really quickly, while on the topic of Demon Slayer, so we have a new manager at work that my boss is training, and she happened to, I happened to be on my phone, and she saw my lock screen. She's like, "Oh, anime," and we got into a conversation, and she's like, "Have you seen Demon Slayer?"
Nice.
Yeah, and then I proceeded to give her my true feelings, and she's like, "I had a feeling you were going to say that." And then she's like, "Well, have you seen this? Have you seen that?" I'm like, "No, no, no, no. Yes, I have. Mainstream, whatever." And I started going, "Have you seen this?" She's like, "Nope, nope, nope, nope." I'm like, "Well, check them out."
I'm guessing this person agreed more with my taste than yours.
No, she was fairly new to anime in general.
Ah, so all the mainstream stuff.
Yeah, she was asking me about what else she was asking me about? She didn't do it. She did Tokyo Ghoul. She did Demon Slayer. She did uh, there's one other one she mentioned before I started rambling off animes. But she said that she likes horror, so I got a couple I can send her way, even though I don't watch a whole lot of horror myself, but I know quite a few horror titles.
Wonder Egg Priority was a good one for that.
You
I also,
consider that horror?
It's listed as horror
Hmm.
or magic. It's considered magical girl horror.
Hmm. Well, uh,
But
kind of sounds to that extent magical girl raising project.
let's see.
while Angela looks that up, I want to take a moment to throw a big congratulations out to Kaylee Mills, who got married on, I think it was the 18th. So last weekend, Kaylee Mills got married. I saw it earlier this week on her Facebook page. So congratulations out to her. That's the second voice actor that we know that has gotten married in the last few weeks. So definitely wish her and her husband a lot of happiness in their life, and big congratulations to them. I was
Yay.
happy to see that stuff going on. The other wedding that happened earlier this month, of course, Christy Rothrock got married, and we're so happy to hear that for, and wish them all the best as well.
Um, one speaking of weddings and happy times, one of the things I did not see personally but found out about afterwards was one of the events during PAX East was a barbershop quartet based on the BioShock franchise. And during their performance, this couple got engaged.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yay.
Congratulations to that couple as well.
But I heard that kind of stuff just makes me so happy.
Oh, definitely. Up next on the anime announcement list for spring 2023, Tony Kawa. I think Darren is interested in that one.
Of course, because how could you not respect one of the most wholesome relationships in anime?
There's wholesome, and then there's Tonikawa that takes it to a whole new level. I did
Um,
enjoy season 1. I won't lie. I'll
the
probably
angel,
check out season 2 to see where it goes, but
the angel next door is right up there. Um, and then Kubo won't let me be invisible, even though it was delayed. Was on par with Takagi and um, Nagatoro to an extent because it took the mischievousness of Nagatoro, but toned it down to the level of Takagi, but way more wholesome.
okay. And
So,
some interesting stuff in the chat. Julili said, "Did you know that Kaylee Mills is a VA for a virtual idol group called Interlineum? You should play one of her songs on the live stream. My friend produced one of her solo songs. I don't know if we could play it during the live stream. I don't know if that would interfere with
Uh,
copyright stuff."
I wouldn't take the risk, but definitely gonna look that up.
And said the song is called Electric Blue Supernova. And for those of you who have listened to us when we're on Blog Talk and could play music, we used to play a song from Familiar of Zero that Keely Mills actually dubbed and sang. Zero no Sakaima. I forget the name of the song, but you can find it on Kaylee Mew. It was Kaylee Mewtwo Mills on um, her Facebook page. She does an amazing job. She's an outstanding singer, and we had the honor of meeting her many moons ago before she really got into the voice acting world, and then saw her again at Anime Boston last year, which it was so nice to see her, catch up and say hi, got an autograph. Because as much love as Ram and Rem get, to me, Amelia is still the best girl of ReZero.
speaking of which, did you see the big announcement?
Which announcement was that?
ReZero's third season was confirmed.
I never finished the second. I kind of fell out.
Well, season 3 was confirmed yesterday.
Also, a big congratulations and happy anniversary to Ross's parents, who are celebrating 40 years.
Wow. My mom and dad's would have been 35, 30 or 35 this coming year, I think.
And I'm not sure when my parents' anniversaries
My
would
parents,
be.
if my dad was still alive, my parents would be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary in May.
Wow. And April 1st, 1983, Ross said for his parents.
My parents were married Memorial Day weekend 1973.
Wow.
Ross, I would turn 2 years old the year your parents got married.
And I would have been 5 shortly after that date. I would have turned 5 3 days after that. HH. Come on. Obviously, it wasn't a prank themed wedding because they're still together. But getting back to the My Anime Lists listing of the spring 2023 anime, up next is Hell's Paradise. I don't know anything about that. It says action fantasy from Studio Mappa. Although that might be up your alley, Ange, because it's gore, historical, shonen.
It's not on my list. That's probably going to be that. Based on this description, it's probably going to be one I wait and start binging halfway through, or wait until it's all done and binge. And then the next one is you guys. You guys in your Konosuba.
Well, what can we say? Explosion.
Megaman causes explosions. That's all we can say.
Pretty
Uh,
much.
F-
Megaming explodes, Aqua is useless, and Darkness is
A masochist.
a masochist, exactly.
this one claims it's already started. Um,
Oshi no Ko?
it says March 17th.
Oshi no Ko is the one that many people are watching this season, and it's got one of the weirder plot twists in anime.
Well, it's listed as a reincarnation showbiz anime, but it's basically it's about an idol.
Yes, Idol gets pregnant. She's 17 or 18. Her gynecologist somehow dies, and when he wakes up, he's reborn as the girl's son.
What the hell?
Yup.
No.
Yep.
Agreed.
No.
And then we got some going down the next row, we got Ancient Magus' Bride season
I'm
2.
excited about that one. Season 1 was so good, and that is how we discovered Danny Chambers and was able to get her on the show, was off the original Ancient Magus' Bride. Danny voices Chisei in the English version, and man, I am excited to see where this goes.
And then the next one is one that's actually on my list. Mashal. However you pronounce that one.
It's not a tournament-based anime, is it?
No, it's basically a school. It's basically it amounts to
It looks like Black Clover to me.
to a certain extent. The description makes it sound like Harry Potter the anime.
Like I said, it sounds like Black Clover for the fact that spends everyday training his body, building muscles strong enough to compete with magic. Sounds like Asta. It really does.
And it says themes are gag humor, parody, school, and it's a shonen.
But it's on our list. The next one, I know one of you. I thought one of you guys watched Ranking of Kings.
I didn't.
Not me. My wife has watched Ranking of Kings. Suggested that I watch it, but
that might be so. All right. The next one is the continuation of Ranking of Kings. Studio Mad. The next one is
Loving Yamada at level 999.
Studio Madhouse, and it's based on a video. It's based on a manga, but it's about a video game.
Up next is a guilty pleasure anime. I will never say that this anime is a great anime, but it is a guilty pleasure fun show that I have watched multiple times, and I'm excited that it's getting a second season because there was some unfinished business in season 1, and that is In Another World with My Smartphone season 2.
I'm looking forward to it just to see what happens. I mean, it was entertainment. That's all I can say.
I got a cheat skill in Another World and became unrivaled in the real world too. That's all, you guys.
I don't even think I'm gonna watch that.
That's an isekai.
Based off a light novel. It has to be with a title like that.
Yes, yes, it is.
It's incredibly similar to saving 80,000 gold in Another World because the protagonist can go back and forth between the two worlds.
I have an opinion on saving 80,000 gold in Another World, but I will hold that until later.
80,000 girls?
80,000 gold.
Sounded like you said girls.
That's probably a future anime that we'll see. It'll probably be a isekai. But up next we have Insomniacs After School.
Sounds like something you'd watch.
Started with the death of one of the astronomy club's members. From this, the rumored ghost of the club came to life. Grumpy insomniac Ganta stumbles across the moderately rebellious yet easygoing Isaki and the astronomy club's abandoned observatory.
Sounds like a different take on Toilet Bound Hanako-kun.
I was gonna say it kind of has a toilet bound feel to it.
I need to finish that anime. I only made like 5, 6 episodes in.
It was really good. Up next on the list is another show that I will watch. In fact, while making more buttons today, I watched the entire first season of Kuma 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 Bear. And season 2, Kuma 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 Bear Punch, is going to be coming out, like I said, April 3rd. I'm excited about that because the show is just so cute and fun, and the characters are adorable. The little bears that Yuna can summon are great, and I just enjoy some of these cute and wholesome shows. And Ross says Darren Insomniac After School is a romance.
Well, to an extent, so was Toilet Bound. Yes
Yeah.
and no.
Up next, we have The Dangers in My Heart.
That's one I'm looking forward to.
Romantic subtext school shonen.
Yep. Guy had, I mean, he embodies everybody. Well, not really. He's way dark. He's way on the darker end of the spectrum. It is hard. He dreams of murder. Thus, it's no surprise that he wants to kill the most is never far from the class idol. And in the meantime, looks like he falls for her.
Kind of sounds similar to another show that's going to be coming up later in the season as we scroll down my anime list. Next one is an isekai about isekai. Summoned to another world for a second time.
Just
Summoned to another world, saves the world, forcibly returned to the original world after being caught in a trap, starts over as a baby, then gets resummoned to the same world once he's in high school.
I enjoy isekai, but there are even times when I think they're getting stupid. And there are very few isekai that I will say are great isekais. A lot of times I end up watching these shows just to compare them to the shows I've seen before. How entertaining are they? Are there characters that are at least entertaining or intriguing enough to lure me in? That just sounds ridiculous. And it's a harem isekai.
Of course. Why not? What happened to standard harem?
What happened to standard fantasy?
What happened to standard high school turned supernatural?
isekais became more popular.
Well, the thing was, before that, it was the ecchi shows that were the popular ones because it seemed like that's all they were coming out with from what 2008 to 2014.
I mean, you look at shows like DxD, Rosario Vampire, Girls Bravo. Even I couldn't become a hero, so I reluctantly decided to get a job.
Freezing. To Love Rue.
Yep.
Let's see. Testament of Sister New Devil.
And
I mean,
probably none of those Angela has watched.
You would be correct.
you're missing out.
Ecchi is not overall really my thing.
Still, a lot of those a lot of people start off for the ecchi but stay for the story or other interesting factors in the show. I need to watch Freezing season 2 now that I think about it. I never watched it. Same thing with Infinite Stratus.
And the one thing about Freezing, yes, there was a lot of times where clothing was ripped and things of that nature, but it was done because they were battling with swords or knives or some form of sharp object that legitimately would cut clothing or cut skin. And it wasn't done in so much of a sexual manner as it was in the form of combat for most of it. Yes, some of it was turned into, and people probably over fantasized about some of the clothes cutting and the bra and panty shots that did come through. But like I said, most of it was done during combat.
Same thing with Iki Tosin. Iki Tosin, I mean, hell, it's got 4 seasons and a couple of spin-offs, not spin-offs, but side stories. And it's same thing, combat. They're constantly blowing each other's clothes off, even the guys. But not down to their underwear.
And HH in the chat says, going back on the isekai topic, to be fair, the isekai aspect is often just an introduction, so draw in middle schoolers. After episode 3 or chapter 8 in manga, the isekai thing is dropped and it's a standard adventure anime/manga.
True.
Which is true because, by the grace of the gods, a lot of that, yes, it's an isekai, but a lot of that doesn't give an isekai feel. Once you get past the fact, okay, he's been reincarnated, and yes, he does go back and forth. He goes to a church to pray and can visit with the gods who sent him to the new world, but it doesn't really give an isekai feel as some shows do. It's more about this guy who got a second chance and is trying to use the knowledge he has from his previous life to make a better life for him in the new world. And in the case of By the Grace of the Gods, he came back as like a 5-year-old or 6-year-old, and he's now 10. And just continues on with that. From there, it basically studies slimes, and it's an interesting journey to see how this kid makes connections and uses his knowledge to really propel himself into success that you wouldn't expect.
And on a group spectrum, have you heard of high school prodigies? High school prodigies have it easy in another world or something or another. It's
I heard about it. I didn't watch
it.
it.
It was either a plane crash or a bus crash or something. Like 6 or 7 of geniuses as kids get reincarnated or summoned to another world or whatever, and they use their skills and smarts from the real world, and you kind of like how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom, and they use that technology and stuff. They figure out how to do stuff in that world and end up coming up with inventions and stuff very similar to what they have in their world. And in the process, end up taking over a kingdom and yada, yada, yada. Starting wars with other nations just for the hell of it.
And the Fire Nation attacked.
I had that happen to us yesterday. It's funny that you mentioned that. I don't know if you saw my post on Facebook about it. I had people question, what is the Fire Nation? For those of you who may have heard us talk about the Fire Nation and have no idea what we're talking about, I don't remember exactly which convention it was. I don't remember if it was like Katsucon one year or it was one of the bigger ones, and the fire alarm went off, and people joked saying the Fire Nation attacked.
You realize that's actually from Avatar: The Last Airbender, right?
No, because I've never seen
Okay.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They were making a meme based on a meme of something else entirely. Avatar: The Last Airbender, because you got you got water, air, earth, and fire, and the
Yeah.
Fire Nation is the bad guys, and so it's always the fire and the Fire Nation attacked,
Okay.
and hence the fire alarm, the Fire Nation. It makes sense.
And then Anime Boston one year when we were vending there, the fire alarm went off and everybody stopped. All the attendees stopped and looked at us artists like, okay, what are we supposed to do? And we're just as lost as they were. And once that got sorted out that night, a vendor who had their button maker on them made a button saying I survived the Fire Nation attack of 20, I think it was 2017. And I've shown that button off on the air. Well, yesterday, my wife and I were walking around the mall here in town and had gone into Five Below, and suddenly the fire alarm went off. I'm still not 100% sure why. So somebody said that possibly could have started at the movie theater, burnt popcorn or something like that. Who knows? But they had to evacuate the mall. So I jokingly put a post up about the Fire Nation attacking the mall. That's the third time we've been at an event where the Fire Nation has attacked.
Well, I'm about to say, it reminds me of being in school. There was one time we were outside for over an hour because nobody in the school knew what was going on. We thought it was a regular fire drill, but the teachers were surprised because you know how they're normally informed of that kind of stuff. So it happened, and then all of us were just kind of standing around outside. Not even the principal knew what was going on.
And HH says, hearsay, Doug, you have to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. No, put everything else on hold. Watching this is your only purpose. HH, this probably will make you jealous. This little book here that I got from Anime Boston is signed and illustrated in by the author and artist. I got it at Anime Boston's charity auction a few years ago. And that right there is your signatures. It was a starting bid of, I think, 25 or 30 bucks. Nobody bid on it. Nobody was bidding on it, so I reluctantly raised my hand, figuring somebody was going to outbid me. I wasn't planning on spending any money at that charity auction. I just thought maybe I could get people go bidding on something. Yeah. The end result is I was the only bid. And this book is in pristine condition pretty much. And it's got a lot of great things in there, including maps and stuff like that. My wife is a huge Avatar fan and has actually recently been introducing the series to our daughter, who has fallen in love with Avatar as well.
Oh God, the cabbages.
I take it you understand that, Ange.
A part of me does. The conscious part of my brain knows that I know. It's one of those I know that, but I don't remember. But I kind of know. There's multiple memes involving anime video games and cabbages.
HH, and in reference to the book, HH says that's a facepalm into the mantle of Earth. I'd sell brother kidney to get something like that. That was definitely a steal. I don't think people fully realized, what was there, and I'm happy that we were able to get that.
Considering the resurgence and popularity of Avatar in the past couple of years, probably definitely worth something now.
Especially where you have an actual illustration from the artist that is drawn in there.
Yeah.
That is a one of a kind item right there. You're not going to find that probably anywhere else.
No.
Not nobody, not know how.
One day you'll end up on the Pawn Stars with that.
Yep.
And then they'll call in an expert. And for all you know, they could actually call in the people themselves because, like, oh, yeah, I did that.
And
Because television.
they've been known to do that from occasion.
Exactly my point. For TMNT, that was probably one of the more interesting ones. The guy brought in like a first edition TMNT comic, like one of the very first runs ever, and that had I can't remember if it had signatures or what, but they actually called in one of the authors of the comic, and he basically said, "Yeah, this is da 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 da." I mean, me and these other guys got together, drew something up, and said, "This is the stupidest thing we ever did." And then next thing you know, sold out one of the best things we ever did. They drew it, looked at it, laughed at it, said, "Oh, what the heck? We'll publish it." And now we have the TMNT. Now we have TMNT.
And I loved the cartoon growing up.
I saw the 2003 version. I didn't watch the original version, so
I was there from the beginning. But getting back to my anime list, as we get sidetracked, as we often do, we have
what else is new?
A Galaxy Next Door, a comedy, romance, supernatural. So that's up Darren's alley.
Sounds like a restaurant to another world. In terms of the whole.
Up next, My Home Hero. That one says adult cast, organized crime for themes.
That one's actually on my list, which shouldn't surprise anybody.
No. Heavenly Delusion out of Studio Project IG. I don't know anything about that.
This is another one that's on our list.
Adventure sci-fi. Another sequel up next with Eden Zero, Season 2.
So fairy tale ripoff, even though it's by the same author.
And then we have The Reason Why Relena Ended Up at the Duke's Mansion.
Modern day Korea. So it's another isekai.
Isekai reincarnation based off a web manga. After that, we have Skip and Loafer.
This one's actually come across my radar.
Funny, Darren, you and I agree on one.
What's that? Skip and Loafer?
Yep, that is on our list.
That could be an interesting one. Is that a show that we all potentially watch?
There's one. We're getting to a point where there's one every season.
In fact, I'm going to write that on the list. It wasn't one that I originally was going to check out, but I might check it out just because.
Watch it be the Bochi the Rock of that season.
It could be. Nobody talking about it, no love whatsoever because of other things, and the next thing you know, it's a million times better than anybody thought it would be.
Yep, because it always seems like my friends that I used to manage pages with, they always toss out stuff here and there. Like sometimes I'll see various manga that they'll post screenshots of, and then next thing you know, they're getting an anime, and I'll be like, "Oh, I need to check that out," and then turns out to be the underdog of the season.
Yep.
And Ross says he also is going to be watching Skip and Loafer. Up next, we have Dead Mount Death Play. Action, fantasy, supernatural. I don't know. I don't think that's something that I would watch. Even though it says reincarnation, I might be up your alley, Ange. I'm not sure.
Nope.
The next one on the list, I think, is up your alley.
The next one on the list is one I'm looking forward to because I really enjoyed Witch from Mercury. So good.
And so in comes more Mobile Suit Gundam with Witch from Mercury Season Part 2. The final season, Part 7,228.
No, Attack on Titan is not on this list.
At
I am still not okay with that.
least you admit it. Again.
If they're gonna call it the final freaking season, put it all out at once for fuck's sake.
Nope. They're pulling a Fate train. They're pulling a Demon Slayer. They're pulling a My Hero. They got to drag it out as long as possible.
If you're gonna drag it out as long as possible, don't call it the final season.
Up next, we have The Legendary Hero is Dead.
Probably going to be my guilty pleasure of the season.
You know, just by looking at the picture and the synopsis, I might check it out. I'm going to write it on my list as a possible.
Well, the tags action, comedy, fantasy, ecchi. Yeah, why not?
And then we have the Aristocrat Otherworldly Adventure, Serving Gods in a Godless World. From EMT Squared Magic Bus Studios.
Never heard of them.
It's based on a light novel themes, harem isekai reincarnation. Thanks, but no thanks.
Hold on, I'm trying to see what other anime that these studios have done. Ugh, I don't like one of the ones I see.
Let's see, EMT Squared. Kuma Bear. Oh, Cheat Magician in a Slow Life. That was one of the pharmacy Drugstore in Another World. The Slow Life of a Cheat Pharmacist. They did that one.
Oh,
that
they
one
did.
was actually cute.
They did Beast Tamer and Love Tyrant also.
Yep. Okay, so EMT Squared has put out some good stuff that I've watched.
Yeah, Magic Bus, not so much. Well, Magic Bus put out Realist Hero, I believe. Yeah, Realist Hero. They did that one, but they also did a couple I don't like.
It looks like they have a lot of romance titles.
Mm-hmm.
And games.
Wait a sec. So they did one of the Legend of the Galactic Heroes? Wow. They got a lot of older stuff in here too.
Yeah, that's what I was looking through. They have a lot of older stuff. But yeah, Realist Hero, that was an unbelievable one. And why do a lot of these look like they could be H titles?
They are. Yep, there's a couple of hentai titles in here.
Yeah. Okay.
So they do all of the above.
I don't know if that's action, fantasy, romance. I'm not sure if that's one I would check out or not. But I am curious based off of some of the other works that they have done that I think very highly of.
I think I saw the preview for that one. He reminded me of the world's finest assassin in terms of the same hair color and the same kind of situation. Aristocrat.
Yeah. Up next, My One Hit Kill Sister.
As if my one hit kill mother wasn't enough. Or was it my overpowered mother and her
Two-hit
two-hit
combo.
attack? Yeah, something like that. I watched that one. That one was weird. Enjoyable, but weird.
I'm sure this one's going to be just as weird. I did not watch the other one because I thought the idea of it was just really stupid, and I think this one's going to fit into that category as well. Up next is a show called Yuri Is My Job.
Sounds like an actual Yuri.
Um,
And it's Studio Passione. And yes, it's an actual Yuri.
And it is a story about a girl who puts on a facade at school to be popular and have a flawless reputation, even though she is somewhat introverted. Reluctantly gets a job working at a cafe where it's a German boarding girls school themed cafe, and ends up one of her coworkers puts on a performance that's so convincing that the girl actually starts falling for her coworker, even though in all reality her coworker hates her guts.
Kind of sounds like
something you'd watch.
No, kind of sounds like Happy Sugar Life to an extent.
Just looking at the pictures of the characters, it kind of gives me like the girls have a similar feel to quintessential quintuplets, so I probably am gonna pass on that.
I might. I doubt it.
Next on the list is an ecchi, The Cafe Terrace and its Goddess.
I'm watching that one.
No hesitation from Darren on that. I am watching it.
This is my surprised face.
I'd hate to see your surprised face. So the guy inherits his grandmother's cafe, not realizing it came with 5 employees, all beautiful girls. And apparently, so it sounds similar to Kawaii, so to an extent.
And then up next, we have Ao no Orchestra.
So another music anime.
And it's a drama based off a web manga from Nippon Animation.
Violin.
Next row, we've got Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Fantasy romance, so that might be up your alley.
JC Staff is doing it, so I mean, I like JC Staff, but the the premise of that show, not
JC
really.
Staff has an interesting collection of what they've done.
Oh, I know. One of my favorite from them was Food Wars.
And I said a title wrong earlier. I want to correct it. The Aristocrats' Otherworldly Adventure. I was confusing that with another one because the English title was cut off. It's called Serving Gods Who Go Too Far. The one that I was confusing it with is coming up with Kamikatsu, Working for a God in a Godless World. And that one's labeled as Action Comedy Fantasy Ecchi.
Fanny.
Fanny. no longer fantasy, it's just a fanny. We know how much Ange loves the fanny genre.
Meh.
She's so tired of our crap.
No, no. This is just I'm tired. Period.
Yeah, you
I'm
had a
I'm
busy weekend.
exhausted.
And then we have Maho Shoujo Magical Destroyers.
Magical Girl, Magical Destroyers. Magical Girl Destroyers, mention of an otaku hero, a young revolutionary who loves otaku culture, and a trio of magical girls who admire him. Together, they struggle to create a world where you can say what you like about what you like as much as you like.
Eh.
That sounds so vanilla.
It sounds,
Boring.
yeah.
It's a magical girl anime.
They're not all boring.
I know. I guess, have either of you seen Magical Girl Raising Project?
No.
You know, it's funny. The opening theme for that was Don't Forget the Lyric or Name That Anime Soundtrack or something or another. And I was the only one in the panel that got it right.
Up next, for those of you who enjoyed Girls Golf, you've got season 2 of Birdie Wing. And I don't know really anything about this show, but apparently from what I saw about it from, I think, a Gigic video,
Yeah.
talked about the fact that there's like a whole underground organization and it's a lot deeper than just girls playing golf.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Up next is a show I think that might have a To Love Ru vibe minus the ecchi, called Too Cute Crisis, an alien who wants to destroy Earth, but once on the planet, discovers a cat cafe and falls in love with the cats.
So it sounds like Beerus from Dragon Ball, who goes to destroy Earth because he was annoyed and ends up sticking around for the food.
Or Sergeant Frog. If you want to go older school, you go Sergeant Frog. But those were just incompetent frogs that couldn't really do anything. But still a very good anime. And then up next is another show that seems like it would be right up Darren's alley, My Clueless First Friend.
Even though it's elementary, yeah, I probably would. I loved 1 Week Friends. I liked the uh, the the shows that revolve around forming friendships, simply for the fact that in school I was always considered, as predominantly in elementary school, always considered the annoying one for some reason, and rarely made friends that I would hang out with or do much with. And middle school was torture.
I think middle school is always torture.
6th grade was the worst.
Up next, we have Otaku Elf. And that is a shonen, comedy supernatural. And then we have The Marginal Service, which I've never heard of. And there is no synopsis on that one yet. And then we have Tokyo Mew Mew New second season. So more Magical Girls. I think that's Magical Girl.
Yeah, and Tokyo Mew Mew is old. Like early 2000s, I think. If not 90s. I want to say early 2000s.
Up next, we have Rakudo's Bad Girls.
This actually seems like one I would watch.
Ross was talking about the other one. Alien Loves Cats. Sounds like Cat Planet Cuties. No, that's where the aliens
That's
are
where
cats.
the aliens are cats, and the protagonists, all of them like cats, except for the chief commander of the dogs.
Now we have Kizuna no Ale. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Alele.
Alele. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
oh. So this one revolves around Kizuna AI, which was one of Japan's first VTubers, and actually was supposed to be a part of the Olympics when they were held in Japan.
Okay. This could be an interesting one. That sounds a little bit on the different side. Story about the bond between girls. Kizuna AI appeared like a comet in the virtual world, becoming massively popular in a blink of an eye after winning the Lapin d'Or, the highest honor given of the virtual grid, the highest honor of the virtual grid awards 5 years in a row. Disappeared as quickly as she came. Several months have passed since then. Aiden Academy is a school that specializes in training new talent who will make their debut in the virtual world. They are students, each with their own hopes and dreams, work hard every day. I want to be a virtual artist just like AI. A young girl named Miracle enrolls in the Aiden Academy with this conviction in her heart. There she meets all kinds of people and makes wonderful new memories with each of them as they pursue their dreams. Are you ready? Her story begins now. That kind of sounds interesting. I might check that out just because of the curiosity.
Oh, stranger things have happened.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I mean, I have half the stuff I watch. I is because it seemed kind of interesting, and then I end up enjoying him. So that could be another one of those. Up next, we have Opus Colors.
This one's on my list.
And looks like artistry.
Yeah, it says themes are school and visual arts. Are we going to see the same kind of art that you saw in Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro?
Good question. Speaking of which, I need to finish. I need to finish that.
I
A
haven't
lot of the
started the second season yet.
a lot of the winter anime. I've been so busy lately and coming home exhausted that I haven't done a couple.
Next up, we have the Idol Masters Cinderella Girls,
So
U149.
so more Idolmaster.
Alice Gear Aegis Expansion up next. I've never heard of that one.
Action sci-fi.
And then we have Mix Messiah Story or Mix Season 2.
I forget what Mix was about. Team sports.
Then we have World Dice Star, a TV anime for World Dice Star Media Mix Project. It looks like it's an idol anime or some sort of performing
Yep.
theme performing arts.
Yep.
Sorceress Stabber Orphan Doom of Dragon Sanctuary.
4th season.
Of the Orphan Hagyur Tabi.
Huh.
and that then we get into like some child looking animes that are just no interest, and probably nobody's gonna even know that they happen. The ONAs, you've got Uma Musume, Pretty Derby, Road to the Top.
Yay, I like me some horse girls because it's actually quite entertaining to watch. One of the more interesting anthropomorphic animes.
And then you have Ultraman final season of Ultraman. I see Ensemble Stars has an ONA coming out. I'm kind of jumping through some of the stuff here because a lot of it I don't know. Oh my goddess. That almost looks like it's not Ah My Goddess, which was that was an entertaining anime from years past. This is Oh My Goddess, and I'm not sure what that is supposed to be. OVAs, my teen romantic comedy Snafu Climax OVA. So that's for you, Darren.
Yep, or I love Origaru.
Azure Lane, Queen's Orders have an OVA that'll be coming out May 10th. Tenchi Muyo, still going. May 26th has a OVA that'll be coming out.
Yep. And let's see, Nightmare X Deathsai Rakuin Soku, something Succubus.
I do not have any of the 18 plus stuff turned on, so
Ha 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 ha. I'm
I
glad
know
you figured that out.
For movies, you've got Black Clover, Sword of the Wizard King, is scheduled to come out June 16th. June 23rd, Rascal Does Not Dream of a Sister Venturing Out.
Yay. She's finally breaking back out into the real world because his sister was a shut-in. Like would not go to school.
Psycho Pass movie Providence.
Yay.
I think that takes place in Rhode Island.
Psychopath movie. Yay, more Psychopaths. That's one of my favorites.
Princess Principal.
Crown Handler, movie 3.
Mm-hmm.
Collar X Malice movie, deep cover.
Bishojo Senshi Sailor Moon, some more Sailor Moon. More Detective Conan.
More
a Love Live film. More Idolish 7.
Amrita no Kyonen.
No info.
No, nothing.
It's a fantasy horror mystery. That I think that might be up your alley, Ange.
No synopsis means we'll see.
As far as the Love Live movie, Nigajisaki, that is the one Love Live I could not watch. As much as I enjoy the Idol Girl animes and stuff, that one was just terrible. Of the 4 seasons or 4 different versions of the Love Live franchise that has come out, I ranked that number 4, and it's way down. Like, there is a big gap between number 3 and number 4, in my opinion, on quality, and I did not like it at all. Love Live Superstar, which is the one that is continuing on and getting a 3rd season, in my opinion, is still the best Love Live. Then second would go to the original Love Live. Third would be Love Live Sunshine. And then last would be that one. And Ross says there's a pole dancing anime coming out. No joke. I think I've heard about that.
A what?
A pole dancing anime.
Where is my bowling anime? Seriously.
And Ross also had a question for me asking, did I end up liking Carol, or did you just end up hating her all the way through Tomo? Tomo was a really good anime. I never fully became a fan of Carol, although after the episode where she actually shows some emotion, she became more tolerable as opposed to just seeming like a emotionless robot, which I think was part of the annoyance of her. I still say Tomo's best friend was best girl, not was my favorite character. Maybe not best girl, but my favorite of the three main girls in that series. Especially towards the end of the franchise, where she has her own like realizations about things. It was kind of interesting to see how everything tied together, and Tomo just made everything awkward, especially in that last episode.
Don't spoil it. Like I said, I'm behind on everything.
I won't spoil anything. I'm just saying she made it awkward.
Well, it's Tomo. What do you
Yeah.
expect?
Well, that's why I said I don't think I was giving anything away by saying that.
Yeah. When everyone knows that Gundo is Gundo
Yeah.
and Carol is Carol.
Gundo is Angela's anime persona.
Pretty much.
Wait. Oh.
We finally came out and said it.
Oh, okay. This is Tomo, and I haven't started it yet.
Yep.
We were
Granted,
hoping you'd start it.
I've been busy with PAX, and next week isn't going to be much better because I've got hockey tickets, baseball tickets, a doctor's appointment,
And the
and
week
at
after that
least
is preparing for Anime Boston.
preparing for Anime Boston is being lazy.
Oh, I was gonna say, keep the tickets, skip the doctor's appointment.
I can't skip the doctor's appointment. It's a follow-up for something that happened a few weeks, 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh man.
But one of the last Bruins games of the regular season, I'll get to see history potentially being made, or I'll curse my damn team.
I'm gonna
I
say
already
you're
know the
probably
Bruins.
cursing them out.
I already know the Bruins set the record for fastest NHL team to 50 wins.
Yes, they did that in December. They've already clinched first place, but they're on pace to break the franchise record for most points in a single season.
Hopefully they do that.
Well, they're up to 119.
Holy crap. That's a lot of points in the NHL. And for those who don't know the NHL point system, if you win in regulation, you get 2 points. If you win in overtime, it's still 2 points. If you lose in overtime, you get 1 point. If you lose in regulation, you get no points.
Now, for the record, there's only a total of 3 teams in the entire 32-team league that have 100 or more points. The Bruins at 119, Carolina Panthers. Nope, that is the wrong sport. Carolina Hurricanes at 103.
I was about to say the Hurricanes are a big deal down here.
I'm aware. I'm sorry. And then 100 points is Jersey.
The Devils.
Yep, but it's not the Penguins, so it's okay. And thus far, we have a total of 5 teams mathematically eliminated.
Now, we have about 10 minutes or so left in the show. I wanted to bounce back on saving 80,000 gold for my retirement. Was that a show you were watching, Darren?
Yes, I'm behind on the last 2 or 3 episodes.
I won't spoil anything. I will say she had a very interesting way of dealing with a major event that happened. It definitely took a turn I wasn't expecting the story to take. And I will say I was impressed by the twist that occurred. It's not often I can say I watched.
She did charity work.
Let's just say she took part in saving a nation that she wasn't even a citizen of.
Oh yeah. Why am I not surprised?
But the way she did it was very interesting.
Unconventional.
Oh, very unconventional. I don't want to spoil anything, and I'm doing my best not to. But all I will say is it was very unconventional,
Did it
and
make you gain? Did it make you gain respect for her? Because I had no respect for her throughout the whole show.
I did gain respect for her because she put other people's interest in front of her own.
Write that down.
That'd be like Angela watching an isekai and actually enjoying it.
Technically, there was one.
What? Which one was this?
Drifters.
You need
Technically an isekai.
you need to watch Slime. I'm telling you, you will enjoy
No.
Slime.
No.
Yes.
Everything I've heard about slime from everybody, it makes me even less inclined to care.
But
It just
Slime has literally the best world building in anime, or one of the best.
I will give that. No, the reason why we're not talking about Bofuri is because I haven't watched it yet. I'm not caught up.
I am.
I am caught up.
I am not. If no one is allowed to spoil anything, I will murder people.
Only
But Maple.
Maple is amazing.
Syrup.
Syrup is best sidekick. No one is allowed to dispute that.
Mia.
Maple is better.
Excuse me, me.
Me is awesome. Me gets. I'm trying to think of something fancy. Me might get the award for best not Maples team player.
What about Pain?
Payne's badass, but me is better.
What about Sally?
Best team strategist. Because let's be real, Sally's the one that knows what she's doing.
Yeah, but Maple's so far ahead of her.
And
yes and no.
And more shameless plugging for Casey Fox. She will have Syrup and Obero buttons for sale at her table.
No, Maple is de facto the team leader, but let's be real, she defers everything to Sally.
Generally, she just rolls with whatever sounds interesting. It doesn't even have to be Sally. She literally just listens to what her guilds they say. So, oh yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's go do it. Cause screw it, why not?
Unless it involves scary things.
And
Ross
I suppose we really should announce these comments.
Ross says, one of my favorite mangas got an anime announcement. Darren and Doug will love it. Look it up. It's called Tale of the Wedding Ring. And
no, I saw it, Ross.
I think, and then HH goes on about how we need to dedicate 20 minutes every episode to the show all of us are watching. We have done that, just not tonight.
Yeah.
Because of Life, the Universe, and everything else, people are behind. I think I'm the only one somewhat caught up on everything I'm watching this season.
Oh, I'm at least an episode behind, if not 2 episodes on on everything.
I'm 2 to 3 on a lot of them. Though Fury's one of the few that I'm not behind on.
Fury, I am only missing 1 episode. I think everything else I'm behind 2.
Okay, so in the episode you watched, had they started the 8th event yet?
They did the prelim.
Okay, because the prelim had the best thing in the episode that I'd seen thus far.
Which was?
The gator.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I will say one anime I kind of lost interest in was Adventurers Who Don't Believe in Humanity.
I agree they bounced around a little bit, but
you know what though?
It was still it was still interesting.
Doug, actually knowing that probably means I'll end up enjoying it.
It's still good. It's just I think it was a case of I so much stuff watching, it kind of went on the back burner. And the way Crunchyroll is still dropping stuff from Funimation, it
Yep.
gets lost in the thing because, like, just to give an example, newly added anime in the last 24 hours, episodes of Trapped in a Dating Sim, Toilet Bound, Naname Ujincho, Mobile Suit Gundam, Witch from Mercury the first season, By the Grace of the Gods, which is new currently, To Your Eternity, Handyman Saito in Another World,
Oh,
D4D,
that was a good one, by the way. Handyman
Inspector.
Saito.
And now I'm going to interrupt from the chat. We've got HH, I think, bringing this back to Bo Fury. I think at some point they will all join up to become a super team for a final boss raid. All three of the top teams. I could actually see that being like a side quest or something.
Yeah, have the admins make the top 3 guilds the final boss, like Sword Art Online had the creator as the final boss.
That would be kind of awesome. Ross HH says they'll put Wedding Ring on their list. And they're going back and forth about that. They've not put Shiki on Crunchyroll yet. I've been trying to watch that for years when it was on Funimation.
But yeah, that goes back to the point of Crunchyroll still uploading things. They uploaded 14 episodes or 14 anime episodes in the last 24 hours, and I think only 2 of them were new to this season. So it's easy when they're still loading stuff like that for current shows to get lost in the mix. And I think that's what's happened with Adventurers That Lost Faith in Humanity. And Realist Hero, how a Realist Hero rebuilt a kingdom. John, that was probably one of my top 5 favorite anime of all time. And that's saying something for the amount of shows that I watch every season. There's a lot of shows I watch just for entertainment but aren't good. That one was actually really, really good.
Oh, by the way, Doug, sorry to kind of jump around again, but there's another anime that got a 3rd season that you may be surprised on. What had a season 2 that made you lose interest?
Devil is a Part-Timer. I already saw season 3 was coming out.
Yep. I think I stopped on episode 8 or 9 of season 2.
I don't remember. I know that we lost interest in when it was airing in Japanese, so we tried it in English, wondering if that's what the problem was. But the story just did not keep us intrigued.
Well, to be fair, the art was a slight downgrade also.
And going back to Realist Hero, even though it's an isekai, I think it's something Angela might enjoy because of the strategies that are incorporated in that.
I can agree. And if she don't, and if she's hell bent on doing the non-isekai, do the Genius Prince instead.
See, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not 100% hell bent against isekai. I'm just sick and tired of. I'm just so sick and tired of isekai dominating the genre list to the point of
Oversaturation.
Oh, you mean like shonen?
And to the point of having to filter through way too many to find one that's worth watching.
Like shonen.
So I just don't bother.
Like shonen.
I'm not getting involved in that one.
I'm gonna ignore that. I'm too tired for that. I am exhausted. I don't have it in me to argue.
Here is one reason I think that you would enjoy Realist Hero, Angela. You've always said that you enjoy a show that's got a good storyline, enjoyable characters, and some fun twists. In this show, you have the main character who does get summoned to another world, but everything that happens in episode 1, you'll have questions about why, including the king relinquishing his entire kingdom to this guy who just got summoned. Every question you have gets answered in episode 24. Leading up to episode 24, you get to see what the main character does to help a smaller kingdom not just come out of debt, but turn into a thriving. Like it's a great world building, and he uses logic. Some of the stuff he does, I think you would find entertaining. You would agree with a lot of the choices he makes.
See, that one, right now we're at a point of with what freaking time?
Oh, I know. But I'm
So,
just saying to put that on your list because I think that's one that you would enjoy.
that one I'm not 100% opposed to. It's just really it's significantly lower on the priority list. No offense.
That's
But
okay.
but there is a list.
If it's still hindering you because it's an isekai, then try the Genius Prince raising a nation out of debt.
Well, when I have free time again, I'll give it a shot. I can't. I'll get to Doug's credit. To Doug's credit, enough sounds remotely interesting where it's probably worth an episode.
I would say give it 2 to 3.
But I don't have time right now.
Oh, I understand that. I'm just saying, like, if
Yeah.
it doesn't hook you by episode 3, drop
It's
it.
not gonna.
It's not going to hook you.
That and
I was hooked in episode 1, and to be completely honest, when the bombshell was dropped in the last episode, I didn't see it. I never saw that coming, and I had to go back and rewatch the series again, and I gained a whole new appreciation for everything that happened after seeing it fully through the first time.
but
On that note,
it is time.
We are out of time. My goodness, that went by fast.
Yes, it did.
Once again, we want to thank all of you awesome viewers who tuned in tonight, commenting in the chat. It was great to see so many familiar faces, and hopefully we continue to see new faces and more growth here on YouTube. And thank you to all the Facebook and Twitch viewers who tune in. Of course, thank you if you're listening to us anywhere in the world through the podcast platforms. Our growth there has continued to go slowly but surely, and we love the fact that each of you tune in on a regular basis to listen to us ramble about something we love in the form of anime, games, geek culture, conventions, everything in general. Thank you so much for being a part of the AZR family, as I like to call it. Big thank you, of course, to our sponsors, Home Circle Media and Casey Fox and Triple S Lawn Care.
Thank you.
And again, big thank you to Angela and Darren for joining me as always here on the show. Until next week, when we have another random topic we'll come up with throughout the week to talk about. Our next scheduled guest is going to be April 16th when we welcome Godswill back to the show. April 9th, we will not have a show. That is Anime Boston weekend, and I will be traveling, so I will not be home in time to do a show. And I don't think Darren wants to do one by himself.
You never know. I could have my friend Matt on again. We could talk more. He's got other stuff he's working on.
So
I don't know.
I mean, we could, but you'll get me in this form of immediately post-con convention exhaustion.
And HH is asking, who's Godswill?
Friend of mine, when I manage social media pages, my quote-unquote boss that had the contract with Funimation would always refer to his boss. And I went to Anime-Zing one year, and the guy running the booth, I was like, "Hey, is this the guy by chance?" And he's like, "Oh my God, it actually is." So God's will has worked for Funimation in the past as the social media coordinator, and now he's working for Viz Media. And recently in Texas, and one of the main reasons I really wanted to have him back on, besides it's that time of year, we try to have him on once a year, is he ran a convention in Texas called Waifu Expo. And I want to hear all about it. And it's also going to be interesting to have another person that actually ran the convention have a conversation and an interview with them. So look forward to it.
So good stuff coming up. Be sure to continue tuning in every week that we are on the air. Like I said, April 9th is Anime Boston. I will not be here because I will be driving back from Boston. Probably won't get home till 10 or 11 o'clock at night at the absolute earliest. Other than that, we don't have any plans to take any time off for cons until I move in July, I believe. So I hope everybody has a wonderful week. We'll see you again right here next Sunday for more Anime-Zing Radio, right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Have a wonderful night, everyone.